Welcome to NetZeroTv. My name is Cynthia and today we're going to be showing you an everyday look. We're going to start off the skin with priming it with a little bit of primer, and it's going to ensure our makeup to hold and just lay a lot better. So you want to do about a pump per application, rub it into your fingertips and really press it into the skin. By pressing into the skin, you're going to create a sheer coverage on the skin to just allow the foundation to sit comfortably. For an everyday look, I really prefer using something like a tinted moisturizer. It's going to allow you to even out the complexion without having to overdo it. My favorite product to be using something like this is with a sponge. A sponge is going to ensure for it to be more sheer, but more even as well. So I'm just going to shake this up, make sure all the products are mixed together. Do a couple of drops on my sponge. And again, I always like to start in the center of the face, being that most of the time that is where most of our problem areas are at. It's a great way to ensure that you're not over applying the product, but still evening everything out. By stippling the product, you're allowing for a fuller coverage without leaving any kind of brush stroke and making it seem a lot more seamless. Once the center is covered, I like to just bring it out to the jawline and out back to the ears. You definitely don't want to forget to get by the ears or down to the neck as well. The trick to everyday makeup is a little goes a long way. So even if it's not the coverage that you want just yet, you just got to be patient, and as we work with more products, you'll notice the coverage starting to build slowly. So we're going to follow it through with a little bit of concealer. The concealer is going to ensure a little extra coverage with any of those problem areas. My favorite brush to work with is more of a synthetic brush. A synthetic brush is going to deliver a lot more product on the skin, but making it more seamless as well. You want to pick something that has a little bit more of that pink tone, and it's going to cancel out any kind of pigmentation on the skin. So we're going to do some right underneath the eyes, and it's just going to brighten up the skin. I like to start towards the inside of the eye, pressing the product through. I like to apply it with my brush, but actually blend it through with my sponge. Again, my sponge is just going to ensure to make it seem a lot more like skin. So tapping motions is the best way to ensure getting a seamless coverage. And you just want to repeat the same process on the other eye. Again, just grab a little concealer, tap it underneath the eye with the concealer brush or a synthetic brush, grab your sponge and blend. We're one step closer to finishing this look. So now that we have applied our concealer, we just want to brighten up the eyes by adding a very neutral tone to just bring out the brown hues in Artis's eyes. I chose a brown shimmer. It has a little bit of that gold tone in there, and gold is really going to soften out the brown eyes. So I grab a big fluffy brush. The fluffier the brush, the more of a softer effect you're going to get. It's a great blending tool. So I applied some on my brush. I'm going to press it onto the skin, ensuring that I get the most coverage out of my product right on the lid. Once you're done applying, I tap out the excess and I start blending it through. I press my brush right into the crease and I start working back and forth motions, and that's really going to soften out my product. Making sure to extend the product out to blend it into the skin. You don't want to see any lines. And again, just grabbing some from the other eye, a little extra product, pressing it onto the skin, working it into the crease, back and forth motions, and then blending it out. Eyebrows is very important part of the eyes, and we definitely want to frame those to bring the whole look together. I'm going to grab an eyebrow pencil and I'm just going to define the brows. My favorite thing to do is just grab my finger, lift the brow up a little bit, and you can kind of see more of the shape of what we're going for. So like that, you're not over drawing the eyebrow, but just accentuating what you already have. So I like to play what I call connect the dots. So instead of trying to recreate a brow, I just connect as far as the little hairs that I see and just follow it through, picking up the hair. And this is going to define the brow for me. I don't want to leave that line because the whole point of your natural everyday makeup is you want it soft and natural. An angled brush with a little bit of powder will soften this look and make you look a lot more polished for your everyday look. A neutral color, a couple of shades lighter than your brows, is going to fill them in but not make them darker. So I'm going to start where I have my definition of my brow, and I'm going to start to pull up. That's going to allow the blending of the line that we just pressed in and the fullness of the brow. Going with the direction of the hair, I'm pulling up as the eyebrow hair goes up, out because the hair is growing out, and in this outer corner the hair grows down, so we follow the shape and go down. Now that we've shaped the brow, we can almost see that natural highlight that we created by applying that foundation that we applied earlier. A little bit goes a long way with your everyday look. And just follow the step with the other side as well. Grabbing my pencil with some more, and I'm just connecting the dots, lifting the eyebrow, Another great thing about doing the combination of both a pencil and a powder is that the wax in the pencil is going to ensure for the product to last. It gives it a base and something to grab onto. So again, I'm starting at that base that we just created and following the growth of the hair. The hair is growing up, we go up. Down, we go down. And if there's any edges, feel free to always use your sponge. Your sponge is the greatest tool when it comes to your everyday look. Softening out any edges. Now lining. Lining is definitely essential. My best way to go is definitely again with that chocolate brown, still a darker shade, just not black. You want to make sure your pencil's nice and sharp, and you begin with the outer part of the eye. I'm going to have you look down. You want to wiggle it in between the lashes because it's not necessarily that you're creating a line, but you're defining the lashes. By doing so, you can definitely grab your pinky or a brush. I always prefer a brush. And just smudging it out. I'm using a pointed brush. And I'm working it back and forth. I'm just softening out that edge. And we're going to repeat on the other side. Again, very sharp pencil. Follow the lash line. With the brush and blending out. To finish this look, you want to apply mascara, and you definitely want to get at the base of the lashes and work your way out. So mascaras generally tend to have a little bit more on the edge. You just want to wipe that off. Now you look down. So when you apply mascara, you got to remember 3 ways. You want to go in the center and pull straight out. On the outer corner, wiggle it and go straight to the side. In the inner corner, you want to wiggle it and go towards the center. That's going to allow fullness and separation. And again, on the other side, we're just going to grab a little bit more. Center. Pull out. In the middle, pull to the center. In the outer corners, and pull out. We're going to grab a little bit of blush. I chose a rosy color with a lot more neutral in it as well. And with this, we're going to also contour with the blush color. It's going to bring out her cheeks, and it has a soft shimmer to really give her a nice glow. So I'm grabbing my powder on both ends of my brush. I like to start at the outer part of her eye. So if she looks straight, you can kind of angle the brush, work your way down, and that's about the area you want to apply it. That would be the apples of her cheeks. So So I'm pressing it on the skin, just kind of tapping it like so, marking where I want to start, and then just slowly rotating back. By bringing it back and bringing it to the hairline, you're allowing it to melt into the skin and making it seem like it's a glow within and not a blush color sitting on your cheek. Again, I'm grabbing the same on both sides of my brush, following the apples of the cheek, and then rotating back. Now you want to set your foundation with a light powder. My personal preference as far as everyday look, I really recommend to not apply powder everywhere. On oily skin it is great, but natural skin does have a nice glow to it, and we don't want to cover it up completely because we want it to look natural. I'm going to grab a little bit of powder, and I'm just going to go back and hit the T-zones. So that would be the forehead, center of the nose, middle part of the cheeks, and whatever product you have left, you can definitely work it all the way through. But you don't want to sit there and just saturate the whole skin with powder. If you feel at any point you apply too much blush, this is a great way to tone it down. You can grab your powder brush and just kind of soften any kind of edges that you see that might be bothering you. I'm choosing a light neutral color for every day. It's a great way to just pick a color that best complements you. You could wear it with anything, anytime. So I'm grabbing a little bit of my brush, applying it in the center, and working my way out. Working with a brush, it's a great way to line your lips and apply the product at the same time. With the edges of the brush, you're able to follow the shape of the lips and glide it through. So again, with the edge of the brush, I'm just following the edge of the lip and really accentuating that lip. Maybe look up. We're just going to apply a little bit of mascara on those bottom lashes. Got to open up those eyes. And I'm almost just tapping it, not necessarily running it through it, but just tapping the lash. Just finishing up the look with a little concealer. And we're just going to spot conceal a little area. Press it in, and you're done with your everyday makeup look. My name is Cynthia, and I'll be seeing you next week with a brand new makeup look.